Previously, we've taken a look at how various NPCs work off camera, mainly from the Resident Evil series, including Jack Baker and Mr. X, but in this video we're moving away from Resident Evil to one of my favourite survival horror games to date. It is the awesome Alien Isolation, and in this one we'll be taking a look at what that ridiculously scary alien gets up to whilst the player is cowering away under a desk or in a corner somewhere, including what happens to the xenomorph after it leaves the map, and also how there can be two of these things hunting the player down, which is terrifying to think about. And I'll also go into some brief details about the alien AI and how it works. We're going to start off with our first proper encounter with the alien, though this is a scripted event. However, just in case you were wondering what happens off camera when Ripley hides under the desk, here it is. Of course, there are plenty more scripted events that happen throughout the game, so I'm not going to be showing all of these, but you'll probably notice one thing a lot of these events have in common, which is that the alien spawns into the scene just before it needs to, and then disappears out again, just out of shot from the camera. No surprise there, though again, some of these scripted events do have some little secrets and differences to how they work that are worth looking at, so I will show some of these throughout the video. However, I guess what we really want to know is, what about when the alien is free to roam around the ship? Well, to give a brief explanation, I'm going to be showing you a program some of you may have heard of. It is the ultimate modding tool for Alien Isolation, and it's called OpenCage. It's been put together by an incredible team, and I'll leave a link to more information in the description. But this tool basically lets us view the behaviour trees for the NPCs and alter their characteristics and difficulty levels, and so much more beyond that too. It's a fantastic tool if you really want to play around with the settings far beyond what the standard game allows. You may want to learn how to use this. So I'm just going to give a brief explanation about the AI of the alien before we continue, just so you know what I'm talking about when I use certain terminology. When the alien is outside of the vents and could potentially seen by the player, this is what's known as front stage. When the alien is inside the vents and the player can no longer see it, the alien is in what's known as backstage. Makes sense, right? Now, there are two different AI systems running at the same time. One being the Director AI, which constantly knows the player's position, and of course the Alien AI. There is also what's known as the Menace Gauge. So as the Director AI knows exactly where the player is at all times, it sends the alien closer to them. Therefore, the Menace Gauge increases. However, from then, it's up to the alien to hunt the player down using its own AI. Once the Menace Gauge peaks, so long as the player hasn't made any silly mistakes like sobbing into the microphone on the Xbox version, the Director AI backs off the alien to a safe distance, lowers the Menace Gauge, and the process starts again. Now that is as deep as I'm going to dive into the AI system, because we're here to look at what the alien does off camera rather than learn about its AI. Plus, there is already a fantastic video by AI and Games who explains all of this in much deeper detail than I want to dive into for this video. So if you'd like to know more about the AI, again, check out the description for links to his channel. So back to the mission at hand. When front stage, as we've seen, the alien will walk around the map hunting down the player. sometimes to increase the menace gauge and sometimes to back it off and cut the player some slack, allowing them to progress. However, what about once it goes backstage? What I've managed to do here is find the alien waiting patiently just outside the map, but it doesn't always do this. In these clips, I've locked the camera onto the alien as it moves around up here, so where the alien goes, the camera follows. And as you can see, it seems as though the alien traverses around above the map, waiting for any reason the player should give it to drop down out of the vents again. So you really are never safe from this thing, no matter where you go during these unscripted segments of the game. Now, you may also be asking why sometimes does it disappear when inside the vents? Well, I guess this could be due to making sure that the alien's tail, or any other body part for that matter, doesn't clip through the ceiling. Also, in various locations, of course, there are windows that the player can see out into space. Therefore, it wouldn't be a great idea to have one of these things floating around outside in a default pose. It could somewhat break immersion. However, when the alien is within the map, or where the map would be loaded if the player was to move there, the alien is still visible. Alright, so I just wanted to show some more of the scripted segments, which you may be wondering about how they work or where the alien comes from. The first one being when the alien grabs hold of Dr. Coleman and drags him into the small corridor. One thing to note during this scene is an old but gold developer trick that they use to make sure the player doesn't see beyond the doorway, which is to have the blackout texture appear just before the door opens. This is also used in various other places, such as the vent openings. If you thought one alien was scary enough as it is, then you may not like this, but last of all, I just wanted to quickly show you how during one of the final missions, there is a possibility of having two hunting aliens present in the map at once. Now, during a couple of missions, there can be two, but usually one or even both of these are scripted to appear and then walk away. However, at this point in Mission 18, both of these aliens end up being in the vents above the map, and either one is waiting up there to reappear and pounce at any given opportunity. Pretty scary stuff.